Okay. Let me pull up my little script. Hi everyone, welcome to Stitch and Maker. I'm Alicia, and today we're going to be working on something I've wanted to work on for a really long time. When I was little, my dad introduced me to his favorite show of all time, Star Trek. You'd think he would have started with the Star Trek the original series, and maybe he did, but it just didn't catch my interest. The show that started my own Star Trek obsession was Voyager. Running from 1995 to 2001, it rode on the coattails of Star Trek Next Generation, accompanying Deep Space Nine. Today, we're making one of the uniforms from this era. I love the uniforms from this era. We see a departure from the solid primary color shirts and see an evolution towards the solid jumpsuits. In the Next Generation, we see like the solid jumpsuits coming up with a primary color from like the chest up. And as the series continues and Deep Space Nine and Voyager, the solid color is now just a band across the shoulders. I love this look in Star Trek. It's so classically Star Trek now. Like that's what we associate with Star Trek. You really get that classic shoulder band with the collared undershirt. My favorite thing about the Star Trek uniforms is that they color code by department, so you know exactly who you're talking to. We still have those primary colors of red, gold, and blue. However, the blue is kind of turned more like a turquoisey kind of color. I'm going to be making a uniform specifically from Star Trek Voyager because I love that show so much and I really like that structure. Now, historically, Star Trek uniforms have been jumpsuits. In Next Gen, they were jumpsuits, and in the beginning of Voyager, they were jumpsuits. However, they look like pants and a jacket with a cinched waist, and that is what we are going to be making today. We are going to be making the jacket. We're going to see if I have some black pants that will work for this project. However, we are just going to be focusing on the jacket because pants are hard. I'm going to work up a design for the jacket, and we're going to go get started. Let's go. All right. Time for my design. I started by sketching out kind of the basic, just like bottom of the jacket. I wanted that cinched elastic waistband. I was looking at my reference pictures a little bit closer, and I noticed that there is a seam on the jacket right about here, and this part is not cinched like the rest of the jacket is. So I'll need to remember that. We have a zipper right down the middle. Mark out where that elastic is going to go. Elastic. Drawing the top of the jacket is going to have a basic crew neck. And then the sleeves are just going to be straight sleeves, however long they need to be for my arm. Drawing the shoulder accent pieces. And then the opening for the jacket will not zip all the way up. It'll just zip just to the collar. There. Reminder to myself. Zipper in the middle. This top piece is going to be that colored piece. I'm going to do mine in red because that's the command color for the Voyager and DS9 era. Adding that seam. And I will be adding interfacing into the jacket just for the structure. So I'm going to do that front panel in the with interfacing, and I'm going to put interfacing along the top as well. I will also need to add shoulder pads into the shoulders to create that structured shoulder look. Draw those in the blue as well. Blue is structural. The jacket will not be blue. Kind of the design for the sleeve. It's going to be like a triangle piece at the top of the sleeve. It's kind of just a basic sleeve shape. Make that a little bit wider so it'll line up, I think. So I'll make that in the colored fabric, and like cut that out separately. Kind of create that look. And there it is. That's my finished design. We can now move on to the actual construction piece. I knew from the start that I wanted the look from Voyager. I liked the silhouette with the straight-legged pants and the cinched waist of the jacket. I know in the earlier seasons it was all jumpsuits, but in later seasons we see the open jacket and pants. I'm choosing to assume that the uniform comes in a two-piece, even if the actual costume didn't always. For this project, I'm making the jacket. I'll be using a black suiting material and interfacing to give it structure. I'll need to add shoulder pads as well. The trick will be the triangle of color on the sleeve and lining it up with the yoke on the jacket. I started out by drafting a pattern off of a vest I already had. I find it a lot easier to draft my own patterns rather than using pre-made patterns. Something about the pattern paper or sizes just never seems to work that well for me. This vest already had the contrasting shoulder colors that the uniforms are known for, so I could just use that to judge the pattern. I had a ton of wrapping paper left over from the holidays and used that to trace out my pattern. I cut out the pattern pieces and made my first mock-up. Luckily for me, I have a living model in my twin sister, so I used her shoulder to trace out where I wanted the triangle piece to go. Because if this shoulder comes down, come across here, and a little bit lower, the sleeve's going to come in considerably. This won't impact that too much. Just know how to figure this out. Fantastic. Once I figured out how I wanted it to go, I traced the triangle onto the other sleeve of the mock-up, the one I hadn't attached yet, and decided to use that as my pattern moving forward. After I was finished with the sleeve, I put my adjusted pattern onto this brown fabric that I had left over from another project and made a second mock-up of just the body just to make sure that everything fit well. It was time to cut out the main fabric. So I cut out the black and the red for the yoke of the jacket. I interfaced the front panel of the black and all of the colored pieces just to give them that little extra structure. The red was not made out of suiting material. It's like a linen, so it wasn't as thick, so that needed to be stiffened up. I sewed it all together, trying not to overlap my interfacing so that the seams weren't too thick. I lined the whole thing. I didn't get any footage of that, unfortunately. I put in the elastic waistband and the zipper. Unfortunately, the zippers are super tricky, so I had to unpick and redo the zipper a couple of times, and I ended up tacking the zipper down by hand towards the end of the project. But it is finally finished, and here it is. You wall! You know that thing when you stare at something for too long and like you're making art and you just stare at it for so long that all you can see are the flaws? Yeah, I think I'm having that problem. I sat down to record this and all I could talk about was all the things I needed to fix about it, but it looks so good. And it feels cool. It feels cool. I'm in Star Trek. I've wanted one of these since I started watching Star Trek for the first time. And I didn't start watching it till I was like preteen, but it feels so cool. I can boldly go where no man has gone before. Yes, are there things I could improve on this? Yes, I am an amateur sewist. I don't know what I'm doing, and I made this up completely because I didn't want to purchase the pattern, and I didn't like the construction on online. So next steps for this project are going to be a badge, and ranking pips, and I think we're going to use resin. I have some cold casting resin that I can do and paint, and I think it's gonna look really good. So that's next steps, because it just doesn't feel complete without the badge, right? So I'm really proud. I'm really proud of this. I think it's really exciting. I bought these pants, these black pants, and I think I'm gonna copy them out of the same material, so I can have the complete look. I've never made pants before, so okay, I've made one set of pants before. If you actually go back on this channel, you'll see that I made a Mandalorian flight suit. I went back and looked at that flight suit, and one leg of the pants is built inside out of the other leg of those pants. But that's practice. It takes practice. So it feels so cool. Boldly go! Beam me up! Well, that didn't work. Hey everybody, thanks for watching! If this kind of content is your cup of tea, feel free to click that subscribe button. There will be more good stuff coming along soon. Bye!